Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is your girl Marsha Lee, the HR consultant. Today's topic we'll be looking at facts and myths or misconceptions as it relates to HR. So stay tuned for today's discussion. All right, some facts and myths about HR. So over the years and working in different industries, I've heard so many things or how employees view HR. Sometimes it's a bit disheartening, but then other times it's funny. So you have to laugh, but then a lot of times employees may feel like HR, like we're not human beings, and of course we're human. The fun part about it is that sometimes we forget how we may need to change how persons may view us, and one way in doing that is ensuring that we're effectively serving in our capacities as HR professionals and HR practitioners. So let me get started in what some of the misconceptions are about HR. All right, so one of the more popular misconception is if a member from the HR department is in the room, someone is getting fired, or someone is going home today, or some form of disciplinary action is going to be taken. Wow, what a way to view HR. Listen, I can't, it's not a fact, it's not, but I can't, I have to give the employees the benefit of the doubt in how they think, and I have to somewhat agree with them because of how we have cultured the minds, or how we have how we are accustomed to our HR practitioners, HR departments, how they function. Then sometimes the employees will feel like once HR is in the room, then someone is going home. I've worked in various sectors, and over the years, one of the things that I really realized that the employees, once you call them, once you invite them to the HR department, it's almost like a child going to the principal's office. Automatically, fear takes them over. And it is really a myth or a misconception, and we need to change that. We need to change that, how the view of our employees look at us. And of course, employees, it depends on the environment or the culture that you're accustomed to, because I tell you that much. Nowadays, or depending on the company, a different HR serves in a different way compared to in those times or years ago, or in the archaic type of situations, how persons will view HR. A lot of times persons will come, I've witnessed it, persons will come into my office or come into the HR space, and once they see an invitation from you, they automatically think that something went wrong, they did something wrong, and they're going home. But that is something that we definitely need to change. We need to change how employees view us, and we need to change how we are perceived. And sometimes we can't, it is in our doing. So let me say that we can't change how we are perceived by others, but really it is in our doing. So if we change how we interact, then of course we can change how we are seen or how we are viewed. So change that experience. So the next time, as an HR practitioner or as an HR specialist or a generalist, a business partner, whatever your role, your title is, the next time an employee approaches you, change the way how you deal with the situation or how you approach a situation, and then you will realize that it changes everything. And that experience, trust me, they will tell a million or 20 other employees, to be practical here in a practical sense, they will tell 20, 30 employees, I had this experience with this particular HR person and I can say that it made a difference. So be that change and make that different, make that experience different from what the usual experience is, what persons are used to. So really that is a myth. So another myth is HR is mostly administrative work, as in paperwork. They just push papers. And a lot of folks have said that. And it is coming from that age where we were referred to as the personnel department. And really the personnel department was just there to ensure that the files, the employee files, are being prepared and they are being filed away, and if there are any complaints, it is being filed, and they acted more so in a very reactive model than being proactive or being involved, for want of a better term. So we have seen over the years where this has changed, and it has caused somewhat of a you can say some form of evolution, and we can look at the evolution of HR. So that is also a myth. The third myth is HR is there to protect the company only. And I've heard this countless times. And it depends too on the perspective that you're looking at. Yes, HR is there to stand as what you call it. So to protect that's a word. Let us use that word. To protect the company, but they're there to be that champion or that change for the employees. So remember now, when we write policies and we have procedures and rules, and we're going by the local labor laws in whatever era we are there to ensure that the company is not there are no legal ramifications if or when something happens from the company's perspective. So we're there to act as a support and to protect the company, and then we're there to safeguard employees. So if you are an employee and you have an HR department for whatever company that you're representing, just know that the HR is there to act as a champion or a representative for the employees. So ensure that that is something that you are mindful of. So really that's a myth. We are not just there for the company and to protect only the company, and we're only looking out for the company's best interest. Between the company and the employees, we have to ensure that we create that balance and ensure that whatever it is that we are doing, it is in the greater good of the stakeholders. And the stakeholders in this regard would be the company and the employees. So we are the heart of everything, and ensuring that there is that balance that is being created at all times. Yes. A fourth myth that we hear from time to time, and there's a spin on it. HR works alone. What does this mean really? HR works alone. So in some sense, yes, as it relates to the confidentiality aspect of it, there are certain things that has to be maintained within the HR space, and it cannot be shared with the business or the employees. It remains within that within the walls of HR, for want of a better term. But really and truly, because of that, persons may refer to the role as it's a lonely role. It is somewhat, because unless you are another HR representative or an HR counterpart, there's really not much sharing that we can do when it comes on to employees' information. We have to ensure that we're being ethical. We hold employees' information to the highest standards, and when it comes on to confidentiality, that should be at its best, and that should be at the forefront of any HR operation, being confidential and being able to put that so that the employees can see that when it comes on to being confidential, they are not afraid or fearful of approaching because of a particular situation that they may be faced with, and they're thinking that HR is not going to hold that information in its highest regard or its highest confidence. So we need to, if there is ever a time when you're in a HR space, then you need to kind of change the status quo and ensure that your employees are seeing you in that light where you can be deemed as being confidential and being able to have conversations and being fair in your judgment and being very objective in situations. So of course, yes, it's lonely because, or it's alone. We work alone in some sense, but that is the aspect of where we work alone. However, as it relates to partnering with the other departments within the organization, then of course HR has to do that, because how else would we know to fill a role? How else will we know that this employee may need some form of disciplinary management or performance management? How else will we know that the business is growing and they're expecting that this type of talent is needed for them to be profitable? So there is never the sense where we work alone. There are some aspects of HR that will remain confidential, and then on the other hand, HR cannot stand alone because we're there to support the business and we ensure that we stay aligned to the business, right? Okay. All right, so that looks at all, I think I gave 4 myths that persons from time to time, they will think that that's how they view HR. So 1, if HR is in the room, someone is going home. 2, HR's job is mostly an administrative role. 3, HR is there to protect the company only. And 4, HR works alone and it's a lonely role. So I hope I gave some insight into some of the myths, and then I added context into how things should be done or can be viewed. So I try to remain as objective as I can be when I'm putting these points across. Of course, I'd love for you to ensure that you're, comment below. Let me know your thoughts on how you feel about HR within your organization. Let me know, what are some of the challenges that you have faced. And also, if you are an HR professional, let me know as well how sometimes things may be viewed for you, or how your employees view you. What is it that when you're not in the room, what are they saying? What are some of the things that they may refer to you as, if they may see you outside of. Yeah, so, share with me so we can continue this discussion. I like it. It's very rich. A lot of times we don't take the time to really look at how we're being viewed, but it's very important sometimes that we sit back and kind of have that retrospective, and then we can say, okay, what are some of the things that we can work on to improve how we're serving our employees? Okay, so